On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
His name became a warning, a rhyme, and a mask, long after his final breath echoed beneath the gallows of London. Guy Fawkes was born in April 1570 in York, England. Baptized at St. Michael le Belfry, he later converted to Catholicism, a decision that would quietly shape his destiny. Fawkes rose to historical infamy through the Gunpowder Plot of 1605. Alongside a group of Catholic conspirators, he planned to blow up the Houses of Parliament and assassinate King James I. The goal was simple and deadly: to end Protestant rule in one explosive moment. Fawkes, experienced with explosives from fighting in Europe, was tasked with guarding the barrels of gunpowder hidden beneath Parliament. On the night of November 4th, he was discovered in the cellar, lantern in hand. By dawn, the plot had failed, and his name was sealed into history. Behind the conspiracy was a man of rigid belief and striking resolve. Under torture in the Tower of London, Fawkes initially refused to betray his fellow plotters. His signature, once bold, was reduced to a trembling scrawl after days of interrogation. It revealed not just physical suffering, but the psychological cost of unwavering conviction. On January 31st, 1606, the day we remember today, Guy Fawkes was executed at the age of about 35. He was taken to Old Palace Yard in Westminster, London. Sentenced to be hanged, drawn, and quartered, Fawkes leapt from the gallows before the full sentence could be carried out, breaking his neck. Death came swiftly, sparing him the final brutal stages of execution. The immediate aftermath was harsh and deliberate. The remaining conspirators were executed in public. The monarchy ordered annual commemorations to celebrate the plot's failure. Bonfires were lit. Effigies were burned. Children were taught a rhyme, ensuring the memory would never fade. Today, Guy Fawkes occupies a strange place in history. To some, he remains a traitor who sought mass murder. To others, especially in modern times, he has become a symbol of resistance against authority. His stylized mask, popularized centuries later, is worn by protesters around the world. He failed to change history with gunpowder, but centuries later, his name still ignites conversation, reminding us how rebellion can outlive the rebel himself. Her voice was husky, her gaze unflinching, and her presence turned Hollywood shadows into something dangerously unforgettable. Lizabeth Scott was born on September 29, 1921, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Raised far from glamour, she worked as a model and radio actress, developing a smoky voice that would later become her trademark. Her rise to fame came swiftly in the mid-1940s, when Hollywood was hungry for mystery. Scott broke through with You Came Along in 1945, but it was film noir that defined her legacy. In movies like Dead Reckoning, Too Late for Tears, and The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, she became the embodiment of the femme fatale. Unlike many actresses of the era, she projected cool intelligence rather than softness, often matching her male co-stars line for line. By the early 1950s, she was one of the most recognizable faces in noir cinema, admired for her restraint, tension, and moral ambiguity. Away from the screen, Lizabeth Scott was fiercely private. She avoided Hollywood parties and rarely gave interviews, choosing solitude over spectacle. A lesser-known chapter of her life came during the Red Scare era, when her career was damaged by rumors and insinuations during the McCarthy period. Though never formally accused, the cloud of suspicion affected her roles and opportunities. Instead of fighting publicly, she quietly stepped back, later dedicating much of her time and wealth to charitable causes, including medical research and support for artists. On January 31st, 2015, the day we remember today, Lizabeth Scott died at the age of 93. She passed away peacefully in Los Angeles, California, from natural causes after a long life lived largely out of the public eye. The reaction was reflective rather than loud. Film historians, critics, and classic cinema fans revisited her work, praising her as one of noir's defining figures. Tributes highlighted her strength on screen and her refusal to conform to Hollywood's expectations of femininity and fame. Today, Lizabeth Scott is remembered as an icon of classic film noir. Her performances continue to influence portrayals of complex women in crime dramas and thrillers. She represented a kind of elegance that thrived in darkness, where silence could be as powerful as dialogue. She stepped away from the spotlight long ago, but her shadow remains, lingering in black and white frames where mystery still whispers her name. She grew up under Hollywood lights, delivering charm and wit long before she was old enough to understand fame. Ann Gillis was born on February 12, 1928, in Little Rock, Arkansas. Raised in Los Angeles, she began acting as a child, stepping onto movie sets while most children her age were still in school classrooms. Her rise to fame came early during Hollywood's golden age. In the late 1930s and early 1940s, Gillis appeared in a string of popular MGM films, often playing bright, fast-talking girls with natural confidence. She gained widespread recognition in The Chocolate Soldier and The Courtship of Andy Hardy, holding her own alongside established stars. As she grew older, she successfully transitioned into teenage roles, later appearing in crime dramas and film noir, including Bad Boy and Port of New York, proving she was more than just a former child star. Behind the camera, Ann Gillis lived a life far quieter than her early fame suggested. A lesser-known side of her story is how smoothly she stepped away from Hollywood. Rather than chasing stardom at any cost, she chose stability and privacy, eventually leaving acting behind to focus on family life. In an era when many child actors struggled to escape their past, Gillis did so with grace and without public turmoil. On January 31, 2018, the day we remember today, Ann Gillis died at the age of 89. She passed away peacefully in Los Angeles, California. Her death was attributed to natural causes, marking the end of a life that had spanned nearly a century of American cultural change. The reaction to her passing was gentle and reflective. Classic film fans, historians, and former colleagues remembered her as a talented performer who represented the optimism and energy of early Hollywood. Tributes focused not only on her performances, but on how rare it was for a child star to grow up, walk away, and live well beyond the spotlight. Today, Ann Gillis is remembered as part of Hollywood's foundation. Her work preserves the spirit of an era when films were fast, witty, and full of youthful promise. For classic cinema enthusiasts, her performances remain a reminder of how talent can shine brightly without demanding lifelong attention. She entered the world of film before she could fully choose it, yet left it on her own terms, leaving behind a legacy of quiet success and timeless screen presence. She moved like poetry across the screen, turning ballet into cinema and leaving behind an image of beauty touched by quiet sorrow. Moira Shearer was born on January 17, 1926, in Dunfermline, Scotland. Raised in a disciplined household, she began ballet training at a young age, showing an intensity and elegance that set her apart early on. Her rise to fame came through an extraordinary blend of dance and film. In 1948, she achieved international recognition starring in The Red Shoes. The role transformed her into a global sensation, almost overnight. Her fiery red hair and expressive movement made the film unforgettable, and her performance is still considered one of the greatest dance portrayals in cinema history. She followed this success with acclaimed roles in The Tales of Hoffmann and The Man Who Loved Redheads, proving she could command the screen without sacrificing her devotion to classical ballet. Despite Hollywood's interest, she chose to remain loyal to the Sadler's Wells Ballet, later known as the Royal Ballet. Away from the spotlight, Moira Shearer was known for her independence and strong will. A lesser-known side of her life was her refusal to fully embrace fame. She turned down lucrative contracts to preserve her artistic integrity and later reinvented herself as a writer, publishing novels and autobiographies that revealed her reflective, analytical nature. On January 31, 2006, the day we remember today, Moira Shearer died at the age of 80. She passed away from cancer in Oxfordshire, England. Her death marked the quiet closing of a life lived between discipline and beauty, applause and solitude. The reaction was one of deep respect. Dancers, filmmakers, and critics across the world paid tribute to a woman who redefined how ballet could be captured on film. Obituaries revisited the Red Shoes as a timeless achievement, and fellow artists spoke of her influence with admiration and gratitude. Today, Moira Shearer is remembered as a bridge between two art forms. She showed that ballet could tell cinematic stories without losing its soul. Her performances continue to inspire dancers and filmmakers who seek emotion through movement rather than words. She danced her way into history, and though the music has long faded, her steps still echo, forever suspended between grace and longing. He wasn't the loudest star of Hollywood's golden age, but his steady presence gave countless films their quiet, emotional weight. Roger Pryor was born on January 17, 1901, in New York City. Before the cameras found him, he studied law at Columbia University, an unusual path that sharpened the calm authority he later brought to the screen. His rise to fame came during the early sound era of Hollywood. In the 1930s, Pryor became a familiar face in crime dramas and romances, often cast as principled reporters, detectives, or dependable leading men. Films like Whistling in the Dark and Evelyn Prentice showcased his natural restraint and intelligence. He also made a memorable appearance in the case of The Howling Dog, part of the iconic Perry Mason film series. While he never reached superstar status, his reliability kept him consistently employed across major studios, a rare achievement in a competitive industry. Off-screen, Roger Pryor lived a notably grounded life. A lesser-known detail is that he stepped away from acting relatively early, choosing stability over fame. He transitioned into business, becoming a successful executive in the advertising industry. Unlike many actors of his generation, he adapted to life beyond Hollywood with ease, avoiding the public struggles that often followed fading stardom. On January 31, 1974, the day we remember today, Roger Pryor died at the age of 73. He passed away in Hollywood, California, after a long illness. The cause of death was cancer. His passing marked the quiet end of a life that had moved smoothly between spotlight and anonymity. The reaction to his death was subdued but respectful. Film historians and classic cinema fans acknowledged his contribution to the fabric of Golden Age Hollywood. Former colleagues remembered him as professional, thoughtful, and deeply dependable. A man who elevated scenes without ever demanding attention. Today, Roger Pryor is remembered as a quintessential character actor of early American cinema. His performances continue to appear on classic film broadcasts, where modern audiences rediscover the subtle art of understatement. He represents a time when storytelling relied more on presence than spectacle, and when strength could be expressed through silence. He never chased immortality through fame, yet his work endures quietly, reminding us that not all legacies are loud, and not all lasting impressions demand the spotlight. He had the looks of a movie star and the sensitivity of a poet, yet fame itself became the role he couldn't escape. Christopher Jones was born on August 16, 1941 in Jackson, Tennessee. Raised in a modest household, he was a gifted athlete and musician before acting ever entered his life, once dreaming of becoming a baseball player. His rise to fame was swift and intense. In the early 1960s, Jones gained attention through television roles. But his breakthrough came in 1965 with Wild in the Streets, where his brooding presence captured a restless generation. He followed this with what many consider his finest performance in Chubasco, and then David Holtzman's Diary, a film that showcased his raw, introspective style. Hollywood saw him as the next James Dean, a symbol of youthful rebellion and emotional depth. His casting alongside Marlon Brando in The Looking-Glass War marked a high point, but also the beginning of deep personal strain. Behind the scenes, Christopher Jones struggled with the pressures of stardom. A lesser-known side of his life was his intense discomfort with Hollywood's expectations. He suffered from severe anxiety and stage fright, which made large productions overwhelming. Rather than adapt to fame, he resisted it. In the early 1970s, at the height of his potential, he walked away from acting almost entirely, choosing privacy over performance. On January 31, 2014, the day we remember today, Christopher Jones died at the age of 72. He passed away from complications related to cancer at his home in Los Angeles, California. His death was quiet, far removed from the spotlight that once followed him so closely. The reaction was reflective and tinged with regret. Film critics and cinephiles revisited his brief but striking body of work, calling him one of Hollywood's great what-if stories. Fellow actors spoke of his talent and vulnerability, and fans mourned a career that ended too soon, not through scandal, but withdrawal. Today, Christopher Jones is remembered as a symbol of unfulfilled promise and artistic integrity. His performances remain haunting, honest, and deeply human. He represents those who step away not because they failed, but because the cost was too high. He left Hollywood behind, but his presence still lingers on screen, reminding us that sometimes the brightest stars choose silence over shine.